Hey, writers and book lovers alike.
Welcome to You Can Write Too. I'm Aléce.
And I'm T.
And for today's video, we're answering the question, can you work on more than one book at a time? It's a very intriguing question that I feel like
it is.
Can be a sort of wave in the calm waters of writers, because it's kind of like a split thing. I've heard like both sides of it. But yeah, I can just like.
Sure.
Oh, before we get started, make sure. Sorry. We have books available on Amazon. You guys can go check those out. Link in the description and in our About section on our YouTube channel. Also, we have a Pinterest under the same name. You Can Write Too. Go check that out. And we have a website called jpublishingllc.com. So go check all of that out. Okay.
Please. Yes. Okay. Yeah, definitely there's people that talk both sides. You know, some people say, hey, they can only focus on one book at a time. You have others that have juggled doing multiple ones. I've had different times where I've focused on one book and just kind of dived right in. You know, with the new book that I have coming out in 2024, my novel, my first novel being published, I focused just on that book for the period of time that I was writing it. I didn't write any children's books. I didn't focus on anything else. And that worked fine for me. But in 2023, I learned to kind of juggle multiple different avenues. So, you know, I was working on a novella, you know, the same time that I was, you know, making changes to a novel. You know, I was writing several children's books at a different time. For me personally, I kind of found that if an idea came to me for one, that was the one I pulled out. You know, that's the one that I went to, that I started jotting those ideas and got as much done as I could with that. And then when ideas started flowing for another one, then, you know, I would go and I would work on that, or I might be sitting in my car because, you know, as writers, our imagination is always going, you know, whether we're in the car driving, we're walking through a grocery store, you know, we draw inspiration from so many different things. We draw inspiration from so many different people we see, you know, atmospheres, houses we drive by, different things like that. So, you know, our minds are constantly going and we're always thinking about what we can do with our books. So I would get different ideas, you know, to focus on the books that I'm currently writing. And so when I, you know, get in front of my computer, then it may be an idea to work on another children's book. And I might start writing about, you know, this cat I saw. Or, you know, I get an idea to start adding some stuff onto my novel. So I found in 2023 that I was able to juggle working on about four to five books at the same time. Which I was really surprised by, because I was always used to working on one, because that's what, you know, I mainly heard, you know, focus on one, get it done. But I was able to juggle it and get and really push through with multiple different books at a time. And it didn't make me neglect any of the other books, because at the time that the ideas were flowing for that specific one, you know, my mind wasn't focused on the other one, so I didn't really have those ideas going at that time anyway. So it's something new that I learned. I get a lot more done, to be honest with you, and I think personally it's probably left up to the individual, you know, and how you're able to balance your time. If you're going to get confused with characters, different things like that. As for me, you know, my stories were so different, there was no confusion with storylines, characters, locations, you know, nothing like that. So I actually was able to juggle multiple books quite successfully. What about you, Aléce?
Yeah, so to kind of piggyback off of what you said, I heard a lot where some people were saying kind of, you know, a jack of all trades but a master of none, when they would, like, that's a popular phrase in a lot, and I've heard people like relate that to writing. They're like, you know, you need to work on one and get that done kind of thing. But me personally, I was working on 4 projects at the same time, and I got 2 done in that span. Like 2 books done, just one is completely done, the other one just needs to be edited, but the draft was done. A different book has already like 160 something pages typed, and the other book has like 40 something pages typed. So like, as you can see, like, I think everyone kind of has, like, if you're working on multiple books, I think there's one that kind of is like the priority book, at least for me.
Definitely.
But I didn't necessarily neglect my other books and just push them to the side and just put all my time and effort into one and not the others. And I think it's, to be honest, if as a writer, like, I want to get a lot of books out, you know, and throughout my writing career. So I feel like if I worked on one till it was done, it would take a lot longer. Like, Humanities then took like 2 to 3 years. He'd be telling me that for every like 3 years I'd get a book out, is basically how it would work with me. And so logically, I just think if you want to become an author that has a lot of content out for your readers to look at, I think it's best if you just worked on multiple projects at one time. I'm not saying you have to do my extreme, do 4 or 5 books at a time, even like 2 books, you know? And even if you're a person that only wants to do 1, that is fine. This is just advice. This is not, you know, what someone needs to be doing. This is just what personally works with me and my mom. And yeah, working on multiple projects really helps me, because if I need a break from one book that I'm working on, I can go to another book, and then while I'm working on that book, if I get tired of that, I can go to another thing. Because I struggle a lot with, like, sometimes if I'm writing in a story for too long and that's the only thing I'm working on, I get kind of bored, and I don't want to completely stop writing, but I want something new or something different that I haven't done in a while, so I can jump to a different project that I'm working on and kind of just work on that, and that just helps me a lot. But yeah, to answer the question, can you work on more than one book at a time? You can work on as many books as you want, and as little as you want. There's no, in my opinion, a right or wrong to that question. It's just really your preference on what you specifically as a writer wants to do.
I agree with that.
So,
sure.
Yeah, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that regardless to what you do, as long as you're writing, you know what I mean? As long as you're writing, you want to always be writing. You know, you want to exercise that gift that you have, you know? So 1, 2, 5, 10, you know, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you are writing.
Yep. And so yeah, so basically to end this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos on our channel. And if you want to support indie self-published authors, you can go check out our books on Amazon. And that's basically it for this video, so make sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And yeah, and always remember,
you can write too.